Journal entry. Day 14. Charleston outskirts. Slept inside again. Still doesn't feel right. I grew up sleeping outside. Florida nights under tree canopies, crickets, and wind. That kind of peace stays with you. But peace is a luxury now. These days, I need walls around me when I close my eyes. Especially after what happened back near Savannah. Not ready to write about that yet. Found shelter in what used to be a hotel. Floor 11. A half-intact suite with a lockable door and a decent view of the bridge. Something about elevation makes me breathe easier. The place stinks like wet carpet and mold, but no bodies, no rot. I'll take it. A pigeon busted through a window this morning. Shattered glass, flapping wings, a mess of feathers and panic. For a second, my heart tried to claw out of my chest. I thought it was one of them. I keep waiting for the day that instinct fails. Today, I head for the bridge. From up here, it still looks intact. Hard to tell for sure. Parts of it disappear into morning fog. Last I knew, the military tried quarantining Charleston when things went bad. Bridges were targets for control. If they didn't blow it, time and rust might have done the job. No way to know until I'm standing on it. If I'm not writing again by tomorrow night, then I picked the wrong day to cross. Signed, K. I zip the journal shut and slide it into the inner pouch of my pack. Feels heavier than it should for a notebook. My knees crack when I stand. 11 floors on concrete isn't kind to joints, even with decent boots. I sling the pack over one shoulder and listen, just for a second. Nothing. No groans, no scraping. Just wind cutting through shattered windows and the low moan of the city breathing through hollow streets. I move. The hallway outside is lined with half-smashed doors and furniture that's been dragged, burned, or broken. Someone tried to make a stand here once. Barricades of chairs and mattresses. Didn't work. I step over dried blood, rusted black now, and avoid the streaks that trail toward the elevator shaft. Stairs only. I descend fast but quiet, skipping the 5th floor. Smelled wrong last night when I scouted. Sweet and sharp, like meat left too long in the sun. If anything's still in there, I don't want to meet it. The lobby's a ruin. Glass everywhere. The front desk is flipped and covered in mildew. A coffee machine lies gutted in the corner like some small appliance crime scene. I pause at the doors, check left, check right. Still nothing. Outside, Charleston's wearing its decay like a second skin. Trees break through sidewalks. Street signs are bent, burned, or both. Cars sit where they died, some with doors open, others with bones in the driver's seat. No bodies worth counting, just reminders. The road to the bridge is mostly clear. I keep low and move between cover. Overturned mail truck, a fallen billboard, the husk of a burned-out patrol car. My footsteps are soft, deliberate. The city's too quiet for carelessness. Every shadow feels like it might blink. I cross under the last overpass, and there it is, the base of the Arthur Ravenel Jr. Bridge. Up close, it looks like a rib cage stretched across the water, its spine rising into the fog. A modern marvel, cracked and still holding its breath. From here, it looks passable, but I've seen things that looked better fall apart in my hands. I rest a hand on the bridge's concrete guardrail and draw in a breath that smells like salt, rust, and wet iron. Time to find out what's waiting halfway across. The climb onto the bridge feels good. Solid footing. Open space. A straight shot forward with no blind corners. I keep my pace steady and ears open. But for the first time in days, I feel hopeful. The view helps. Fog hangs low over the harbor, but the bridge rises above it, its towers pushing into the sky like bones through skin. The air smells cleaner up here, salt water and concrete, the kind of cold that clears your head. A couple abandoned cars sit quietly on the shoulder, long since picked clean. No bodies, no blood. Just dust and silence. I pass a faded sign. Mount Pleasant, 2 miles. I'm halfway through the first leg. The island's just ahead. I adjust my pack, shift the weight, and keep moving. Then I hear it. A sound. Not wind, not birds. Something else. It's distant, somewhere below and ahead, in the fog where the bridge touches the island. A metallic scraping, slow, deliberate. Then, a wet thump, like meat hitting concrete. I freeze. Every instinct in me flares. The fog ahead is thicker now, pressed like a wall between me and the far shore. And somewhere inside it, something is moving. I can't see it, but I feel it. A low vibration in the soles of my boots, like something big shifting its weight. I backpedal a step, eyes locked on the fog bank. No movement, no shapes, just that awful sound. And then, silence. I inch forward. 10 more steps brings me to the spot. And that's when I see the gap. The bridge is gone. A full section collapsed into the river below. Steel cables snapped like pulled sinew, jagged concrete edges crumbling. 20, maybe 30 yards of sheer nothing between me and the island. I stare for a long moment, trying to will a solution into existence. But there's no leaping that, no climbing it, no makeshift raft waiting nearby, just wind and water and the sick churn of whatever's waiting in the fog. I look back the way I came, and that's when my eyes land on it. Near the base of the bridge tower, partially hidden behind a tangle of rebar and a rusted maintenance crate, is a round metal hatch embedded in the platform. Yellow paint flakes off the words, "Maintenance access, authorized personnel only." I don't need to guess what's down there. It'll be dark, wet, cramped, and if anything's still alive in the guts of this bridge, it won't be friendly. But it's my only shot. I swallow hard, move it quick, move it quiet. I reach the hatch, crouch beside it, and run a hand over the metal. Cold. Damp. The yellow paint flakes like scabs under my fingertips. The bolts are rusted, but the wheel turns with a groan that echoes down the spine of the bridge like a warning. I pause. Listen. Nothing. Then I lift. It opens with effort, stiff on its hinges. A breath of rot and mildew rises from the tunnel beneath, wet concrete and something faintly electric like burned wires. It smells old, abandoned. I sling the pack off and pull the flashlight from the side pouch. Click it on. The beam flickers but holds steady. The opening reveals a narrow metal ladder leading down into the dark. The tunnel walls are concrete, slick with condensation and streaked with rust. There's just enough room for a man to stand if he doesn't mind brushing the ceiling with his head. I take one last look at the fog above. Then I lower myself in. The hatch slams shut behind me, sealing out the sky with a heavy clang that makes my chest tighten. The silence down here is different. Pressed in. Thicker. It's the kind of quiet that makes your own breathing sound like a threat. The ladder goes deeper than I thought. 30 feet down, then 50. I count the rungs just to keep my nerves from chewing on themselves. My flashlight bobs with each step, casting shadows that twitch and sway against the slick walls. The shaft is narrow, metal and rust. Moisture drips in slow intervals, ticking like a metronome in my ears. Somewhere far below, I can see a faint reddish glow. Emergency lights. I climb down into the dim, stale light and drop the last few feet with a wet splash. The water's calf-deep here, lapping at my boots like it's glad I came. The tunnel stretches out ahead, narrow, square, lined with maintenance panels and bolted piping. Every 20 feet or so, a weak red light buzzes overhead, flickering just enough to make things feel off. They're solar-powered, I realize. Makes sense. But with this kind of fog cover, the juice must be running low. Still, I'm grateful for the visibility. I check my pistol, then the flashlight. I keep it off for now. No need to draw more attention than my boots already are. The tunnel seems to hum with its own breath, like the bridge is exhaling around me. The kind of sound that gets under your skin. I move forward. My footsteps are the only thing I hear, squelching and echoing off the walls like someone's following too close behind. I resist the urge to look over my shoulder. I know better. This place feels abandoned, but not empty. 50 yards in, the tunnel changes. It widens slightly and dips lower, the water rising to mid-shin. More debris here, fallen ceiling tiles, snapped conduits, a collapsed air duct that looks like something slammed into it from the inside. I keep moving. Then I reach it, a blockage. Half the tunnel is caved in. Concrete chunks the size of microwaves are scattered like teeth, and rusted scaffolding juts out of the wall where something heavy gave out. There's just enough room to crawl under it all if I'm careful. I holster the pistol and crouch, pushing my pack ahead of me as I belly down into the water. My shirt clings to my chest. Cold metal scrapes my back. The light flickers once, twice. Then I hear it. A splash, not mine. Behind me, I go still. Every breath is a threat now. The splash comes again. Closer, sharper, something moving through the water. Fast. Then the groan. Low, inhuman. A noise that bubbles up from a throat that forgot how to breathe years ago. I twist, fumbling for my pistol. Water sloshes. The flashlight slips from my grip, spins in the dark, and catches the thing behind me for a split second. Pale flesh, torn mouth, black eyes that don't blink. Then it charges. The thing charges, stumbling through the tunnel water with a rage that doesn't know its own body. I get one clear look as it lurches under the weak light. A massive Bowie knife is jammed up under its jaw, angled sideways through the throat. The blade's keeping it from making a sound, but its eyes say everything. Hatred, hunger, madness. It swings wide, clumsy but heavy, arms flailing like sledgehammers. I drop low. One leg sweeps out across the slick tunnel floor, and I feel the crack of bone and dead weight as it goes down, hard. I'm already reaching, hand to the hilt, wet fingers gripping the blackened handle. I wrench the knife free. A burst of foul-smelling air escapes the thing's mouth as it jerks, letting out a wet, gurgling shriek that echoes like a flare going off in a mine shaft. Too late. I drive the blade down into the skull just above the ear. The thing twitches, then stops. Silence. But not for long. The scream, the death rattle, was enough. From deeper in the tunnel, the water starts to move. Sloshing, shuffling, moaning. Not one, a handful, maybe more. I don't count. They're coming. I yank the blade free, grab my pack, and haul myself through the narrow crawl space ahead. My boots drag. My lungs burn. Tunnel water slaps against my legs like it's trying to pull me down. The other side opens up, but it's slow going. Every step is a slog, the air heavier with the sound of them closing in. Not running, but relentless. Unstoppable. By the time I spot the next access ladder, my hands are trembling. I shoulder the pack, jump, catch the bottom rung. Start climbing. The metal's slick. I nearly lose my grip twice. Halfway up, my arms shake like they want to quit, but I don't let them. Not here. Not now. I climb. Below, they reach the base of the ladder. Fingers scrape metal. Feet splash frantically in the water. One of them lets out a high, rattling howl that crawls straight up my spine. I push harder. Every breath is a furnace now. My throat tastes like blood and battery acid. My vision blurs. But the hatch is close. One last push, I shove it open. Daylight floods the shaft. I roll out onto the concrete, chest heaving, knife still in one hand. Slam the hatch shut behind me and twist the lock until the metal screams in protest. Then silence. Only the sound of seagulls and distant waves. I lay there for a minute, maybe two, staring up at the gray sky like it's the first time I've seen it. My hands are shaking, not from fear, from everything. Eventually, I sit up. Ahead lies the heart of Charleston, rooftops rising from the mist, gutted buildings leaning into one another like tired old men. Somewhere out there is the way forward. The coast stretches south beyond that, every mile pulling me closer to Florida. I know what's waiting for me there. I also know what's between me and it. Infected, wild animals, starvation, rogue humans who've decided the old rules don't matter anymore. Some never needed the apocalypse to be monsters. They just needed the excuse. But I've made it this far. I wipe the knife on my sleeve, stand, and slide it into my belt. The plan's the same as it's always been. Keep moving. Don't look back. Don't die. The first few blocks are quiet. Too quiet. But not in that panic-inducing, something's watching me way. More like nature finally exhaled after choking on humanity for too long. Moss creeps up through sidewalk cracks. Kudzu clings to stop signs and storefronts. Birds, small ones, mostly sparrows and starlings, flit between rusted gutters and broken window frames. A stray raccoon scurries out of an overturned trash bin as I pass, pausing only to give me a bored look before disappearing into an alley. It's a strange calm. Not safe. Never safe. But for the first time in hours, I'm not being chased or hunted. Just walking through the ruins of a city trying to take itself back. I stay low, tight against walls, eyes up. I scan rooftops, windows, doorways. The occasional breeze rustles plastic bags and sways empty swings in an old, fenced-in park. No moans, no screams, no gunshots. It's not peace exactly, but it'll do. I take a turn down a street that used to be part of a shopping district. Signs faded, mannequins slumped in broken glass displays, a cracked sale banner still hanging crooked from a gutted store. I keep moving south. That's when I see it. The street ahead is blocked. Not by debris or an accident. This is intentional. A makeshift wall built from stacked shopping carts, plywood, sheet metal, and heavy bricks. Barbed wire snakes through the top. Empty cans dangle like wind chimes, designed to rattle if anything gets too close. Fresh. Clean edges on the wood, no moss, no rust. Someone built this recently. I crouch behind a half-toppled SUV and study the barricade. It spans the entire street, funneling anything moving into a single tight opening, one they can close in seconds. Smart, efficient, territorial. There are no markings, no symbols, no warning signs or skulls on spikes. But that doesn't mean safety. Could be military holdouts, could be survivalists, could be worse. I stay low and scan the rooftops. No movement, no glint of scopes or silhouettes. Still, someone is here. And I've got to decide fast. Do I go through, around, or turn back? Because the only thing worse than the dead is the living with something to protect.